Good morning, YHS. I am super excited to be able to host the Professional by Pathway Career Exploration. My name is Natalie McLaughlin, and I am excited to welcome Ms. Mathis along with Andrew Chase as our guest speaker today. Before we get started, I wanted to remind everyone that this is going to be recorded for our future students to benefit from. We also have the next 30-ish minutes or so to learn about this career field, the education that is needed to enter and grow within the industry, and what advice our speaker has for our students. And we will, of course, be moderating any questions that are given through the webinar. And without further ado, Andrew, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalie. Appreciate the introduction. So as Natalie mentioned, my name is Andrew Chase. I am the branch director for the Yelm Boys and Girls Club. So this is going to talk about a little bit of background about the Boys and Girls Club as a whole, and then specifically Yelm. And then we're going to go into some of the positions and education required for this position, and some of the pathways actually that working here can lead you to in the future as well. If you have any questions, feel free to send them in. Natalie will make sure to get those to me. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So about myself, I am a Yelm grad, graduated Yelm High School in 2009. I was the last class in the old high school building in 2005. So that's really cool. Some of my education, I hold an Associates of Arts from SPSCC. And then I have a double major in sociology and psychology from Central Washington University. I've been at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Thurston County for 8 years. I started out as a program staff, which is an entry-level position, moved up to a team coordinator, program director, and then finally as a branch director, and then here at Yelm. And then I've also spent 13 years working with youth. So outside of the Boys and Girls Club, I worked as a gym monitor and it's the basketball program for Tumwater Parks and Rec. So I ran that for a few years before starting a Boys and Girls Club. And then probably my greatest accomplishment in my life, I was voted best hair for Yelm High School in 2009, as you see in my picture there. So, still hold it dear to me. All right, so just kind of some history about the Boys and Girls Club of Thurston County. Our first site opened up in 2001 in Tumwater. And then as you see, we progressed over the years with several other sites, Lacey, Rochester, Olympia, Tenino, Yelm in 2019, and then our Raj Manhas Center in 2020, which is in Lacey. So we definitely have a footprint in the community in just about every school district in Thurston County, except for Rainier for now. So we'll see if we can get out to Rainier in the future here to help some of those kids as well. A little bit of how we choose where we're going to have a site. The safety of the site is the location, a safe spot. Our kids going to be able to safely either walk to the club or get off the bus and get to club. Those kinds of things. How many clubs or how many kids can we serve in that area, or how many kids need us in that area? The need, we kind of look at free reduced lunch rate. To see how many kids may need us in that area. Access, again, is easy to get to for the kids through bus or walking or their parents dropping them off. A place to have a space. So like Yelm's in the old City Hall building. The city was gracious enough to help us get this building here, and they only charge us $1 of rent per year. So that's awesome, it works for us. A willing partner, that's the city of Yelm, and the school district as well has been a big partner for us in helping us get this up and running. So what is the Boys and Girls Club? These are kind of the core values for us and what we're about here. So it's facility based. So that basically means we do everything in our building. We're focused on the things here we can do as opposed to necessarily being outside of the club. So we have daily programming. Natalie can attest to this, she works for me. So every hour of the day is scheduled. They have several different areas they can go into: art, tech, a games room. Some clubs have a gym. We do not have a gym. And then we have the education room as well to help with school. So we're focused on school age kids. So that's all kindergarten all the way to high school. So we do serve our high school age kids as well. A lot of folks don't know that, but we have some really cool programs for our high school kids specifically that really sets them up for the future. We have professional staff where we all go through training and certifications and things like that. So we're all knowledgeable in youth development. So the last one is that it's affordable to everybody. The membership fee is $30 a year. And then after that, it's $75 a month to attend. But we offer scholarships that can lower that to as little as no cost per month, as well as our middle school is not charged anything other than $30 a year, and they attend for free the rest of the year. So if you guys need a place to hang out, at the end of the day, do some things, come see us. Oh, sorry. But the Boys and Girls Club is really a guidance-based program disguised as a recreation program. So what that means is a lot of people think we're a daycare. We are not. We are a youth development program, which means we focus on providing skill sets and knowledge and experience to help them progress into adulthood, to graduate high school, to go to college, to go to the trades. That's really our focus here is getting kids ready for the future. So to do that, we focus in three core areas. The first being good character and citizenship. So those are like our leadership programs. We're doing fundraisers for the community, just giving back, learning those values there. Academic success. We have several tutoring programs. We also have some scholarship opportunities for kids to help them get to college and pay for it, as well as the trades. Our last one is healthy lifestyle. So that's, we have a lot of sports programs. We do snack. We learn about how to eat healthy. We do mental health care, learning knowledge about that. So we take these three, meld them together, and try and, help the kids be successful in the future, like I mentioned before. Pardon me, that's more. Again, it's about the kids who need us most. Like I mentioned before, the fees are affordable and we have scholarships. This doesn't necessarily mean that we only focus on kids who may be in lower socioeconomic status. The club is for anybody who needs us, in whatever capacity that is. We like to meet the kids and families where they are and just really focus on, how can we best help them and serve them. So this is a little bit of a breakdown of this need for us in the young community and why we decided to come out here and have a club. So these are some of the clubs that have the higher free reduced lunch rates in the city here. And if you notice here, a lot of them are very close to our building. Fort Stevens and Mill Pond are within a mile. South Earth and McKenna, 3 or 4. And then we do serve Lacamas, so that's the furthest one out. But we do provide service, and we're located in an area that is close to them, and they can get here. So just some interesting numbers to look at there for you guys. All right, now to the important parts that you guys probably want to know the most about. What kind of positions we offer here at the club, and I'll talk a little bit about the education needed for these positions. So we have a junior staff program, which is actually for our middle and high school members here. They have the opportunity to partner with a staff here and gain some job experience. They have to do resumes. We work on cover letters, interview questions, things like that. So just to prep them more for going into the workforce later. So it's a really cool program. If you guys are ever interested in something like that, that's always something we can work with as well. So now for positions for staff in general, we have program staff. That's our day-to-day folks who run activity areas. They are the backbones of our club. They are the most important people in the club because if they're not here, we don't run. So they are my favorite people in the building. So they're awesome. And for program staff, it's entry-level position. A lot of our staff is actually high school kids and college-aged kids. I guess they're adults, but they're kids to me. It's a good opportunity for them to get, it's a part-time position. They get some hours, they get some job experience while still being able to do school, and reach their goals academically if they're looking for that. Um, Next, we move into position team coordinator. They run our team programs. Front desk coordinator. They are our other front line, first line of defense folks. They're awesome. They run the front desk, manage membership. They do everything. They're another really important piece of our club. We have behavioral coach. So they come in, they work with kids who are having issues with behaviors, or just need extra help during the day. And so that's that position. We have a G3 coordinator slash volunteer coordinator. That's our tutoring program position. So they're in charge of the tutoring program for our kids. They work with the school, the parents, and the kids, and helping them get the help they need to for any areas that are deficient in for school. Then volunteer coordinator, they're also in charge of getting and recruiting volunteers for our programs to further help support that G3 program. And then we move into our upper management level positions. So you'll have a program coordinator or director. They're in charge of running national programs that we have here, coordinating with staff and helping them plan activities. They also handle scheduling as well as that kind of stuff. And then you move into branch director, which is my position. So that's a data oversee, um, operations, do shopping for the club, handle the budget, go to board meetings, those kinds of things. A little bit more um, outside of the club and interacting with the kids, but still a decent amount for that. But a lot of it is administrative and kind of behind the scenes and making sure the club is running how it's supposed to. Then area director is essentially the same as a branch director, but they oversee multiple clubs at a time, and they kind of help us out that way. And those are all positions you would see at a club itself. And then the next section I have, we move into our boys and girls club positions at the administrative level. Um, so you're looking at like research and development, getting resources, working with the community to see what the needs are, and just helping improve our clubs throughout the year. Events coordinator and communications, they're going to be our people doing fundraisers, getting money, procuring um, prizes or raffle items for auctions and things like that. If you've ever been to the Dollars for Scholars, all the stuff out there that's for sale or up for auction, typically events coordinator would be the ones getting all those items for that event. Grant writer, so their job is to search for grants to get us money to support our clubs. They're trying to get us money for all kinds of things. There's grants for running clubs. There's grants for computer programs. There's grants for STEM. There's all kinds of grants out there, just like scholarships. You can find some really interesting grants and get some folks who'll support you and get you money to run programs in that area. So they're really important. They help us out a lot as well. Administrative assistant, they handle the day-to-day in the administrative building. They work directly with the director of operations, CEO, and they kind of keep everyone organized. CFO is our chief financial officer. They're in charge of all the finances for all the clubs. They keep us, making sure we're hitting our goals and our budgets are good. Then director of operations is kind of like a branch director for the whole organization. So they're making sure everything is running and operating correctly, handling any major maintenance or repairs issues. They work directly with the board as well. So they're really important. And then we have our CEO, who is in charge of everything. They do a little bit of all the things I mentioned before here in the administrative level, and then they work directly with the board as well as other CEOs of other clubs nationwide, in ensuring that our clubs are running well. Um, yeah. And now I'm moving kind of the education experience required for some of these positions. sorry about that. The really cool thing about Boys and Girls Club is honestly the education experience that is helpful for getting the jobs here are also going to be very beneficial, or sorry, working at club is also going to be beneficial in getting these types of degrees and working in these fields as well. So they kind of go hand in hand, working both ways, you know. So it's just a really cool opportunity here that you may not have at other jobs, you know. So some of the education or work experience that's going to be really helpful here is a degree or experience in sociology or social work. You know, a lot of this job is working with families, kids, the community. So you're working with people, and you have to understand, you know, what people want, what they're feeling, what the community needs. You know, so that's really important. Psychology and behavioral health. A lot of this job, especially, you know, I know you guys are going through the COVID, doing all the Zooms, and I know you guys are hearing about some of the mental health concerns for the kids as well as the parents and teachers and everybody. You know, and part of our job and like positions like behavioral coach, you're going to be working with kids and their mental health and their mental well-being. You know, there's going to be kids who have behaviors here just like, you know, at school and anywhere else. And you know, our job is to help them navigate that as best we can. And our behavior coach works, you know, tirelessly with them to help them improve those behaviors so that as they get older, you know, they can help, you know, mitigate or, you know, handle those behaviors as they get older. So it's a really good one. Early childhood education. There's a lot of folks who, you know, we work with that kindergarten to second grade age, which is around that early childhood age. So those of you who are looking to go into daycare, running a daycare, you know, those kinds of things, um, you'll get some experience here. And also, it's really good, especially for our younger kids, because I will say, for me, the toughest group to work with is kindergartners. Natalie may be able to agree or disagree on that, but our kindergartners are, they're just learning a lot and they're very curious. So they have a lot of questions. There's a lot of teaching and guiding that goes on with our kinders. So definitely early childhood education. It'll either prepare you for club or you'll be prepared to go into the field by the time you're done, especially if you're working with kinders and first graders. Special education, we have some kids here, you know, with, you know, different disabilities or mental health illnesses, you know, autism, ADHD. You're going to get some kids here with some, you know, stuff like ODD, you know, some lower level things like schizophrenia. So there's a lot going on for some of these kids. So we do have some kids where we, you know, we work on that tough stuff too. We have some professionals here that also help with that aspect as well. I'm going to skip over teaching because I'm going to come back to that one because that's a big one. Leadership and management, especially if you're looking at being in a position like myself as a branch director, or even as like a team director or coordinator. You know, leadership skills are going to be important. Um, you know, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you had a position as a leader. That could also be you took leadership classes in high school. You were a part of a service group in college. You know, those kinds of things show us that you have the ability to lead and help and mold those around you. Coaching, so like sports, if you're a coach, that's my background is coaching sports originally. You know, so I learned some skills that way. And then in general, like for entry level program staff, a background working with children in, you know, any capacity is really helpful. Babysitting, coaching, like I said, you know, running a volunteer program at your church, anything like that. We're always looking for that kind of background because it lets us know that, you know, how you have some experience and you can handle working with kids. So back to teaching. This is probably one of the best um, fields or jobs that you can have if you want to go into teaching. I say that just because it's a pretty easy job to get into, but you are doing a lot of some of the things that teaching, and you're learning some of the skills. In our clubs, you're going to have up to or more than 20 kids in an area. So you're going to have, you know, classroom management skills. We do lesson plan and program, not necessarily to the extent that a teacher would, but every hour of every day is planned and programmed. So they do have activities. So you're learning how to do that. And then, you're also learning how to just work with kids and understand how to work with kids of different backgrounds, different environments. You're going to see a lot of different kids in this work. Um, so I really do think that if you want to become a teacher, if you can get into a place like Boys and Girls Club um, before you get to college or while you're in college, I think it'll be really beneficial in helping building some of those skills that you're going to need in teaching. And then you can have some experience working with kids when you go in to do, internships and stuff like that. So I think it's really, they go hand really well. Um, and, we always need teachers. So it's going to be great. All right.
We
That's
are at our 10-minute warning, just to
awesome.
warn you, Andrew.
Awesome. So I'm at questions. Is there any questions anybody has? Well, they do have.
There are not, but we do have a few participants in here, so I'm going to remind them if you do have any questions, send them my way. For now, I'm going to ask you a few that I have down here until we have some that are being asked. My first one is, what made you decide on this career? Why did you decide to start working with kids?
So honestly, I fell into this work. So I was working at Plumwater Parks and Rec, like I said, running their youth basketball program. And then they actually ended up cutting that program for a while. So I was looking for different work and I saw it on Craigslist. And I applied because I had some experience working with kids. And then I got a position as a teen staff. So I worked with the teenagers, which is actually my favorite group to work with. I really enjoy my middle school and high school age kids. And then I decide, as I worked here longer, it started to really feel like a good fit. I really liked the work we were doing. We really focused on, helping these kids develop and, move on. And there wasn't as huge a focus on like, you have to meet these goals, we have to do these things. And there wasn't a huge focus on discipline. It was more about guidance and how do they learn from their mistakes. There is discipline, but, how do we help them learn and in the future have different coping skills when they have those same issues that lead to those behaviors. And then the last thing is that I've worked with some really awesome people who ended up being my best friends to this day. So it's a really awesome organization and environment here. So there's a lot of camaraderie here, and it kind of feels like a family when I'm here, so it's nice.
I can attest to that as well. My next question is, what does your work environment look like now, especially with, COVID and all of those restrictions?
Gotcha. So it looks vastly different. Typically, we would have 75 to 80 kids in the building. Right now, we only have about 30. And, and then we have to do the 6 feet regulations, and the kids are wearing masks. It's a little bit different because we are an intimate program. There's a lot of like um, kids working with each other, kids doing games that are really interactive, and they're handling equipment and working with each other in close proximity. So it's been really interesting trying to shift that into how to do those same things while keeping distance, following guidelines. And I will say our staff has been really awesome in creating some, solutions to that. We have a really awesome art staff who plan some really cool stuff and some really cool science things on Wednesdays. So, the staff have really been the biggest support in that. So it doesn't look a whole lot different, just with more spaced out and more safety precautions.
Got it. Okay. Next one. What do you think are the most important skills for a person to have in the workplace?
Um, I think a few things are going to be. The first one's going to be just understanding how to work with other people. I think that's something that we don't get enough of. There's going to be people you don't get along with or you don't necessarily mesh with. But in the workplace, you don't have the option necessarily to leave, go away from them. Sometimes you work in close proximity and that's someone you work with daily. You just got to understand how to work with people to accomplish a goal. You don't have, like I tell the kids, you don't necessarily have to like them, but you do have to respect and work with them. That's one of the biggest things. And the other one is, for me, make sure you know how to balance your time out. I'm terrible at it. I spend probably too much time here at work. making sure you have a good work-life balance is very important. I tell my staff often, just the end of the day, get out, go have fun, go, on the weekends especially, go do something for yourself. Self-care is really important, I think, in the workplace. And then just finding work that you believe in and you enjoy and that you actually want to do, I think makes it a lot easier to work. I love coming to work every day. Sometimes, like I said, it's hard for me to leave. um, but it's work I enjoy. And this has been, an easy, not easy, but it's been a fun 8 years working here. So
All right, I got about 2 more questions for you. One of them, what do you wish someone would have told you before you started in this pathway?
um, uh, just how much patience is needed sometimes to work with kids. They're great. I love the kids here, but some days, you're stressed out from life, and they may be having a rough day. You just gotta have patience and grace and understand that um, 99% of the time, what they're doing and dealing with and going through has nothing to do with you. So when they may say, I hate you or something like that, they don't really mean it. They're just really struggling that day. And, they just got to get it out somehow. It's not personal. They're just kids learning how to regulate their emotions and understand how to get through the day. So, it's being patient, understanding.
Awesome. All right, last one. What do you love most about your job?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's so many awesome things. I like getting to chat with the kids. Sometimes I'll just chat with a kid. I think in this position too, one of the really cool things is that we get a little bit more opportunity to learn about the kids, their families. We interact with the families probably a little bit more than some other organizations. So you really get to learn about a kid and their family and their background. So just learning about the kids and what they're going through in the commonalities that we share is really cool. I've learned a lot of new music shows, things like that, off the kids, recommendations. So I'm very into a lot of the stuff they're into these days because they like to share it with me, and I like to take time to participate in it as well. So.
All right, well, those are all the questions we have for you. And unless you have anything else you would like to add, I just want to say thank you, Andrew, for coming and spending your time with us and sharing your advice with us.
Awesome. Sorry, I forgot to put up this one. If you guys ever need to contact me or the club, or if you have any questions about anything, call, email. We're always available. So, thank you
And I
guys.
want to, yes, I want to thank you because I learned a lot today myself. Some good information for the Career Center to have.
Of course.
And I am going to make sure that we share this video with Mrs. Hull. She does a class called, I believe it's Careers in Education. And when you talked about, using this for people going into teaching, that really was like, hey, wait a minute, ding, ding, ding. We need to have you talk to her class too, I think. I think it'd be a great,
Yes.
I will connect you.
Too. So if, we can reach out to colleges and schools, things like that. So we have a lot of, opportunities.
It's amazing.
And just for those students watching that do want to be a teacher, that's why I started working at the Boys and Girls Club, because I know that I would be a teacher. And I could have swore that I wanted to teach, elementary school. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, maybe I want to teach middle school. So, it definitely, those are things you don't really think about, of what grade level you want to teach. But that's what it's helped me with most, is trying to figure out that and what kids I work with best and stuff like that. So yeah, just thank you, Andrew, for coming. This has been awesome.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.